Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark podcast. And oh my boy, I am so excited for this episode. I've known Carlos for a little while now, but every time I speak with him, it's mind blowing. I learn something new every time. The knowledge, the experience he has is absolutely out of this world. Now, let me tell you a little bit about him. He is a wealth strategist, an author of an international best-selling book, Work Like an Immigrant. He is also a keynote speaker, high performance coach, investor, blockchain enthusiast, show host of the Carlos Inspires Show, and movement maker on a mission to make poverty history. One of his superpowers are helping others create accelerated passive income to free up their time to do what we all love. He loves financial vehicles that earn and grow our money, guess what? Tax free. He has mentored CEOs all around the globe, from startups to Fortune 100 companies such as Xfinity, formerly known as Comcast. He generated just a few $1 billion in revenue between all the people he has mentored. And guess what, guys? When I found this out, I was blown away. Tony Robbins himself says on record, if there is one person in the world to give him a run for his money, it is Carlos Siqueira. Oh my goodness, guys. Please welcome to the show, Carlos Siqueira. Carlos, I am super excited to have you on the show today.
Oh my God, no, it's my honor to be here. Who is this guy? My friend, I'm very happy. I love your energy. I mean, and I'm just very happy to be here. It's an honor being here, serving your show and your family and everybody that listens to this show. I'm looking forward to having an awesome episode here with you.
Oh, I already know it's going to be awesome, right? I mean, every word that comes out of your mouth is value after golden nugget after golden nugget. Like, it's insane, your experience, what you've gone through. And in fact, I would love for you to explain to our audience, right, what your journey's been like, because it hasn't been all golden stars, right? And you have been able to change and switch up your entire life, and it's like a complete different world that you're now living in. So I would love for you to share with our audience what that journey really looked like for you.
That's a great question. I love that question. As you were introducing me, and I was like thinking about, all these short moments of celebrating some of these wins and the kind words that have been spoken to me, whether it's from Tony Robbins or Liz Brown and Jay Shetty, some of my friends. And a long time ago, it wasn't like that. It was like, I was just thinking about it right now. It was chaos. My father died in a car explosion. I was only 3 months old, and he was, before that, he was going to become a priest. And then he saw my mom. My mom was beautiful. And then thank God, he decided to no longer become a priest. And then he married my mom. And then it was a Romeo and Juliet story. They end up in tragedy. And from that point on, it was it was difficult for my mom. Some people, they call my mom a viúva negra. That means the black widow. My stepfather was murdered. So some people, they joke around, any man that she dates or married, they either die or they get murdered. And I was bullied with those words growing up.
Oh, wow.
And I went through a lot of bullying growing up, a lot of months after months just eating rice, wish that I could have beans and meat to go with it. And, and it's funny, as you were, introducing me, and I literally went back then, because those are the things I remember. The times, some of you guys right now might have been going through something difficult because of COVID and because of maybe a divorce or separation, or your business or a business partner, somebody. And I remember growing up, people saying, I have all these big dreams, because I was tiring of all the suffering, that my mother and I went through. I have to sell bread on the streets when I was 7 years old, which I'm very thankful that my mother allowed me to do it. I was always a big boy. I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. So Tony and I, whenever we speaking on the stage, we like height, He's a little bit taller than me. He's 6'7". And then, and then I have a belly. He doesn't.
Do you know how tall I am, Carlos?
How tall are you?
Oh my God, like when I meet you in Dubai, right, you're gonna be like, holy crap. I'm 4'11".
Wow, my wife is 5'1", so you guys are you look at my daughter's 11 years old, you probably be looking at her like
That happens most of the time when I pee people, yes.
I'm telling you, my friend. But hey, you never underestimate a smaller package. That's what I tell my wife. She's 5'1". She's Mexican, Italian, American. I call her triple threat. Like, we just celebrated our 17 years anniversary this past few months. So we have our 11-year-old daughter named Isabella. She loves speaking against bullying and mental toughness because she sees me. She travels the world. We homeschool her, so that's all she's in the environment around. Us speaking and causes. We do a lot of things that we don't put on social media. I always tell. I have a lot of celebrities and CEO friends and athletes that I mentor in my lifetime. That I tell them, how much more are you doing above and beyond the tax bracket? How much more are you doing that is between you and God that you're not posting on social media? Right. So we do a lot of those things with my daughter and I, and that's all she sees it. You go to the ATM and you take, let's say, 1,000 pounds or 1,000 euros, and you break it down into 10 $100 bills. And then you go around parking lots in the suburbs, in the lower class areas, and you look for families selling things on the parking lot, and you give them money. And then it's the greatest feeling ever, right? Seeing them giving you a hug. And your kids, your children, when they're very little and you do those things over and over and over, you wire something inside them. You made them value money. You made them appreciate the little things. You don't enable them by just giving them money. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's so much that the kids learn. And it's awesome to see my kids, or my daughter, and then I also have a bunch of other kids that I sponsor around the world. And you see them, and the reason I talk about those things, Kay, is because once upon a time when I was a kid, when I was 7 and 8, selling bread on the streets, I had these dreams. I want to buy a castle in Scotland, in London. And it wasn't for me. It was to bring the kids that were murdered on the streets that didn't come back to work the next day to sell bread alongside me. It was some of my friends that were tortured and no longer here to tell their story. You know what I mean? And I always tell people, I used to tell the local businesses and my teachers, in school, and they're like, you dream too much, kid. They say, you're never going to go anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Or if you go, or they will tell you horrible things, racist things, you don't belong on this side of town. You Indian from the Amazon, you blah, blah, blah. Because my family, we also have tribal in us. I grew up in the Amazon in Brazil. I live in Silicon Valley now for 20 plus years. And I travel the world, spend a lot of time in Silicon Valley, in the Amazon, I overseas and stuff. And when they told me these horrible things, I have a saying that I often talk about when I'm speaking podcasts on stadiums and events and masterminds, and that's not your gender, where do you come from, or the color of our skin. It's our attitude that's going to make us win. Somebody out there needed to hear this one more time. It's not our gender, where do we come from, or the color of our skin. It's our attitude and how we interpret and how we take every single moment that's going to make us win. And I always took that to the heart. And then when people say something mean or evil or racist or whatever, you don't know my story. Watch me.
Absolutely.
I trained, I know you help a lot of people in podcasts, and I trained many speakers in my lifetime. And I always tell them the unknown person in the room has the greatest leverage because they don't know your story.
Right.
I had a dream once, Kate, to speak at the Oscars. And I was invited to speak at one of the Oscars events years ago. And I roll up on the stage on a pink bicycle for a little girl with a sombrero on my head. And I had bread in the bicycle, and I threw bread at celebrities. And I told them, you can never, ever forget where you come from. And I brought my story to the stage so I could tell them the difficult times when I sold bread on the streets, when I would eat rice because I knew the moment on the stage, the Oscars, the 5 minutes of glory, being on a big event on the stage with some of your mentors and the people that you learn from, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, all the people that we like, Jay Shetty. And when you happen to meet them and share stages with them and get to know them, and it's like those moments are temporary. But what we forget to acknowledge is the battles with the demons between four walls, right? So it's never about the story or the glory. It's always about the story. So never, for you guys listening to me right now, listening deep, you don't understand how powerful your story is, because we all have a story. 7 billion people is only one of us. It comes down to get yourself in proximity with people like Kay. You want to become a great podcaster? Now, you reach out to her. She's incredible, right? You want to learn how to, I no longer do consulting, so I cannot teach you anymore how to do, but you can follow me and you can learn for free, because now I just give content for free. But and then, that's a saying that somebody stolen from the Bible. If you hang around the barbershop long enough, you're going to get a nice haircut. Right? So straight out, I don't know, all these quotes that people argue and they put the little name after, it's all stolen from the Bible, from the Quran, from all those books in religious groups. Nobody owns nothing, right? We come here with nothing and we leave without nothing. And I don't know, it's just, you made me, I went back in time when we were talking, introducing me, and it just, a lot of people, because we got to remember those things, right? It's they struggle. It's like, you got to love right now. The tough times, it's like when you are struggling, when you're going through the divorce, when you're going through the separation, when you're losing the business, when the client didn't pay the bill and you got to pay rent and mortgage, you got to pay your business, you got to pay your payrolls. It's this moment right freaking now that you're going to be like, I got this. The devil will whisper, you cannot withstand the storm. I am the storm, goddammit. It's like, because if we build this muscle, okay, right freaking now, when it sucks, when it hurts, when there is nobody, when we don't have anyone, that is going to build our character over time.
Okay, so I've got a question for you with that point, right, that you made, right? Building what's up here, the mindset, regardless of the bad times that you're going through, right? You've seen a lot of things when you were younger that most of us haven't seen or experienced. How did you cultivate your mindset, right, after seeing and experiencing all of that negativity to get to this point? How did that happen for you?
I often joke and I say too many people prayed for me. It's, it's like, maybe I should write a book one time, the conversations with my grandma. I was interviewed the other day, Conversations with Your Mother. It was an incredible interview. She's going to release that episode on podcast. She even cried at the end. And we both shed a tear on that show. When I was 6.5 years old, I was going to stab myself. And I wrote a letter. Some of you guys that maybe ever went through suicide, maybe wrote a letter, maybe you heard a story of a friend that wrote that letter. And I walked to the kitchen, Kate, and it was a dark night. It was raining. And I was going to stab myself. And right before I do it, I heard a whisper. I called the whispers from God. And you know what he said? He said, hey, kid, I know it's difficult. I know you don't have a father. The roof has a bunch of holes with it raining. It's only rice for months at a time. You've seen people be murdered. But guess what? And you've been tormented, you've been bullied, you've been abused. But some of your friends on the streets and overseas, they are being abused 7 days a week, 30 days a month, 365 days a year. You might be only abused a few days a week. So, and he said that your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. And I want to, somebody out there right now needs to hear this again. Your future doesn't have to equal your past unless you carry on the stories with you. So that was a defining moment came in my life. And so that whisper from God into my ears, along with the conversations with my grandma. She often, she used to be, she used to clean houses, a housekeeper for professors. She cleaned houses of professors. Professors, they would travel, like, let's say, from the little town to a big town, and they would stay there throughout the week to work at the schools and the universities.
Right.
So she would clean those houses where the professors lived. So she constantly listened to their conversations as she was cleaning.
Ah.
And she also took recommendations of books to read. So she learned a lot of wisdom. She was like a wisdom housekeeper lady. Incredible, genius. She learned so much over her cleaning years because, you know, you subconsciously, you listen and then you start reading, you heard them talking about how great this book is. And then she would see those quotes from like Jim Rome and Les Brown and Napoleon Hill. It's funny. I became friends, you know, with a lot of these people. And then later we shed a tear, me talking to those guys. They are now older. We shed a tears many times, Liz and I. And my grandma often always spoke life into me when I didn't see it. And she's like, if you're somebody's son can make an impact in the planet, is you. Because I say, Grandma, like one day I'm going to make a world impact. Because I say, Grandma, how come they don't come here? You know, Tony Robbins, Les Brown, Jim Rome, Mel Gibson, Bruce Lee. Why they don't come here to the body, to the streets, and they teach us, and they will at least speak life into us? And she's like, meu filho, eles não falam português. My son, they don't speak Portuguese. And I go, God dang it. And I said, all right, Grandma, one day I will learn multiple languages and I will travel the world and I go around villages and I go to all these celebrity towns and I will inspire them. I will go in their soul and I will rip their spirit and I will tell them that see more to life than money and fame. There's a whole lot of more to life that's going to bring us way more happiness in the little things. And she always used to say, okay, if that's somebody that can do it, son, is you. Constantly reframe it when you go to something difficult. Ask yourself better questions before engaging, right? Mm-hmm. What else does this mean? And over time, Kay, every time that I saw something difficult or anything negative or death or disease or loss, whether it's in business or in life, I always look at the mirror and I would say, that is always a blessing in a curse. That is something good out of all evil if we pay close attention before engaging by being proactive and not reactive. So every time as a child, I mastered reframing everything negative into positive. So let's say, for example, if I only had rice to eat, I used to get mad and sad, you know, because I would hear the kids in school, or they would go and they would buy, right, a little food in the little lunch place. Yeah. I couldn't do that. I had freaking rice. I'm over there eating my rice, and they're over there eating cool shit, a soda and a, you know, a lollipop. I'm like, fuck, I wish I could have that shit. Aww. And then when I was like, so instead of me focus on that, I would reframe it. I'd be like, okay, some of my friends that I sell on the streets, they don't even have rice sometimes. So what I would do, I'll have my mom make extra rice. I'll bring rice to them. And I'll say, okay, guys, let's all eat rice together. Because it would make me appreciate the rice even more because I know I have the freaking rice. They don't even have rice sometimes. Right. So now we all eating rice. And I would take the experience to another level. So for you guys here in the room, there are consultants and authors and service providers. I want you guys to think about how can you elevate your business by creating an experience to your clientele by pushing, going above and beyond. So then what I would do, I would have them come around, we all eating rice, and I would tell them, close your eyes. As you're eating the rice, imagine being in your favorite park at Disneyland. Mm-hmm. Now imagine your favorite kid. So I want you guys right now, even if you're not eating, you close your eyes and you imagine you at Disneyland with me, and you imagine your favorite character, Mickey, Minnie, Donald Duck, you know, whoever's your favorite character, let's say if it's Donald Duck, and then we are eating there, our rice, and now Donald Duck goes and says, and I would imitate. I learned how to imitate, how to create sounds. I would imitate characters and musicians. So when I was feeling sad, when I was going through my suicidal moments as a kid, you know, I wanted to kill myself, I entertained myself when nobody was there. I did something. I spoke life into me when nobody was watching, because greatness, my friend, It's already inside of all of us. You just have to master how to ignite that and how to constantly, every time you go something difficult from now on, I want you to imagine me, 6'5", 300-pound Brazilian giant from the Amazon, just whispering to you, there is a bless in every curse, you know, and then reframe it. Just, I know it, it's going to suck. As you guys can imagine, I went through tremendous amount of suckness and evil, you know, and I somehow, it's God, there was prayer, it was me constantly reminding myself, there is a blessing in every curse. There is a blessing in every curse. I probably say that a million times, you know, on my way out of the hood. But I know if I did it, I know so can you. You know what I mean? And that is how I was able. I know it's a long answer to that question, but you know what I mean? I had to take it to another level. So because I don't want you guys to forget, because that's the hardest thing, right? Is to reframing it when we're going through the suck, embracing the suck, feeling love with the suck as much as it sucks. You know?
Oh my goodness. So, Carlos, I mean, not only did you get yourself out of, you know, of some of the things that a lot of us haven't seen or experienced in real life, but you were able to keep scaling and growing and scaling and growing. And all of a sudden, well, it's probably taken a little while, but you've got this amazing mind that you have been able to cultivate where you not only understand people, business, the world, right? But you're a visionary, right? You are almost like you can see few steps ahead, right? What's going to happen, what it's going to look like, and you put things into place, right? Because you can see where things are going, where business is going, where world is going, what people are doing. And it's almost like you're looking down and watching everything, right? And you can analyze so much from what kind of watching what's going on and able to put things in place, because I feel like even the conversations that we've had and the you know, when we weren't recording behind the scenes, right, you were telling me crazy, well, it seemed crazy to me, right, because I'm not you, but I'm like, really? Wait, hold on a second, what? Right? And I'm like, how were you able to grow that kind of a mindset to take it to a next level?
You know, every time we do that, when I get interviewed a lot of shows, and before the shows, we have a podcast that couldn't be in the podcast.
Right,
No,
exactly.
but I think, okay, I'm like old school, right? I was raised by military and policemen, you know, and
Oh,
it's no right or left. It's only one way is straight when I was growing up. So one thing with me, it's like a lot of people sometimes I have a mantra: question everything, trust no one. You are your best fiduciary, because we tend to see people on TV, on the stage, on the radio, and we tend to trust people too easily, right? But I tell people, we have to research. We have to understand. I don't care how amazing people feel about you, if you guys are enjoying this conversation and you're getting to learn myself, but you still you cannot just trust people so easily. You have to research. And then as you start making money, start saving early on, right? And then diversifying those savings. I don't care if it's all you have left is $100 at the end of the month, just start saving. Put 25 on gold, 25 on silver, real estate, you know, blockchain. You look at the sectors, look at the things that are trending, because the trend is your friend, but you still, whatever sector, not a financial advice, but whatever sector, you diversifying your wealth into it, whether it's little money, people that don't underestimate, okay? If you double $2,000, whenever I speak around universities, I tell the kids, go drive some Uber, come and see me when you make $2,000. And then, because if you take 2,000, and if you apply what the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and the Lees, whether we like these families or not, whether there's conspiracy stories and blah, blah, blah. But when you pay attention to how they grew their wealth, success leaves clues. These people are able to double their money every year. And when you double something as small as $2,000 or 2,000 pounds without adding a dollar to it, over 9 years is £1 million.
Ooh.
$1 million. And that is $2,000, 2,000 pounds without saving an extra dollar, just by doubling it and following strategies, clues that the elite, the 0.1%, people often talks about the 1%. No, I'm talking about the 0.1%. I'm talking about the 13 families that controls 90% of the entire wealth of the globe. So when you study these people, when you study the top 50 Fortune 100 companies, and you pay attention to their balance sheet, and you look at where they're investing, where they are diversifying it, it leaves clues.
Okay.
So now, all those clues, and you're like, okay, I seen those families, I seen the top 50 Fortune 500 companies, I see where they put in their money. I wonder if I diversify, whether I have $100 left at the end of the month or $1,000. What if I take and I break that into 10 segments, and I'll just pick one segment from each place that they are going into. So now I am putting money exactly where they are putting their money early on at the beginning of the economic cycle. Economic cycles, they run every 10 years and every 100 years. If you become early on the economic cycle, your wealth is gonna 10x, 100x, 1,000x, whatever x it done. So you see, and that's how I think, right? I watch the wealthiest, the 0.1%, 7 billion people, 13 families owns 90% of the world. Okay, what are you doing with your money? How are you investing? How are you diversifying? How you make money? Please, tell me. You know what I mean? So, and then they're not going to tell you. So now research and then getting to it, go deep. And that's how I think. So then on social media, when I'm teaching, and I always document things, when I find something great, then I go and I talk about it. I do it first. So I'm a do it first leader. Then I help some of my family members, some of my neighbors and friends. And they're like, okay, I test it for a couple of months. I see that it works. Now I tell my followers. Now we little by, and I tell people, look, if I'm going to promote something, I'm putting my big boy pants. So if you put your big girl pants, whatever we're going to play, never bet the farm. Diversify. So if something goes down, you have multiple things, right? Let's say if I got real estate, gold, silver, blockchain, stocks, forex, I mean, multiple sectors. If one goes down, the other one's going to. So, and that's how I think. And as I see them growing it, I create businesses inside those businesses, and I form alliances to add value to these companies. So now we grow together. And then if I can earn a few shares by promoting it, even better now, because now I can teach others how to do that. And then we can all win and increase our wealth and help, many people around the world, some of my causes that I like support. And it's a long question, but that's how I think, you know what I mean? And whenever I look at anything, I go deep in my research, and I go for, I'm a do it first leader.
Yeah. And I hear the passion from you. Like every time you talk, that you're so passionate about it, and it's awesome. And I just want to say, you keep saying, oh, that was a long answer. That was a long answer. But no, because you give a really awesome explanation that we can all understand. Right. And that's what we all need to hear, because there's so much stuff out there, Carlos. You know this, do this and do that. But it's like, all right, explain how that works. What does that mean? We get that there's all this stuff out there you can invest, but how and when and what, all these questions. And so you've answered a lot of things. So first of all, there was something that I didn't know, that there was 13 families that control the entire world. I'm like, I had no idea about that. I've never even heard of it. Right? No one's mentioned that. So so even little things like that is that, whoa, that is powerful. I didn't know there was 13 families that control the entire world. I need to go and find out who they are now. Right? Or even quicker, I'll just ask you later on. Right? I need to listen to these 30 people.
All right. And everybody else, if you don't know, you can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. I'm always talking about it.
There you go, guys. You want to find out who these 13 people are in the world of families? Go and follow Carlos right now, right? Because even the small thing like that, imagine what else you could learn just by following Carlos. Like, it's amazing. I am going to come to Dubai. I am going to be following Carlos. He's going to get to a point where he's going to be like, oh my goodness, this 4'11" Indian girl from Britain keeps following me all over the world. But it's going to happen, Carlos.
I'm telling you, my friend, it's an honor, man. I do appreciate the kind words. There's so much out there, guys. Some of you guys, you're like, Carlos, let's say if I'm broke right now, if you don't have any money, like you literally, you can subscribe to that. That is a software called Jasper. It's an AI software that you can subscribe to that software, and that you can go to local at $20 a month, for example, and you can go to local businesses in your town, and you can provide copywriting services for those local businesses. So you guys want to learn how to make $1,000 a month? Go to 4 businesses in your town, and you're going to charge them $250 each, and you're going to tell them, I'm going to do all the copy for your business, for your social media. I'm going to send a nice, beautiful newsletter to your email list, and that's going to help you bring more businesses. Mm-hmm. Hire me for 3 months, $250 per month, 4 businesses is $1,000 a month. Then you go to Jasper. You can go on Instagram at Carlos Inspire. There is a link under my bio. You can click on the link. There is a link there that you can get Jasper. $20 you pay these people. Now you go to Jasper and you type the name of the business and what do you want to write about. The AI is going to write it for you. So now you take this beautiful newsletter about this business, let's say a pizza shop, a taco truck, an Italian restaurant, a landscaping company, I don't care. You go and it's going to be a beautiful writing. Now you just type it. Please give me a nice newsletter to talk about my landscaping company and how incredible Mrs. Jones was happy with the custom trim in their tree, blah, 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 right? Whatever. So you don't have to give much. The AI is going to do all the work for you. Then you copy and you paste it into a Word document. And then you go and you send that newsletter to that business, to all their list, or to on social media. You create 1 post per day, 30 posts. You go and tell Jasper, give me 30 posts for the next 30 days about landscaping. And then it will give it to you. So you don't have to do it. And this is professional copywriting services that you're giving way below what the copywriters are charging, because you're only charging $250 per business per month for 3 months. So now you give yourself $3,000 right there for the next 3 months. And guess what's going to happen? If they increase their businesses, you tell them, if this helps, you're going to give me 3 times this amount for the next 3 months. So now your 3,000 becomes 9,000. So then you take some of that money, come and see Kay or myself, and you learn some pretty cool things on how to diversify. And then now watch the 9,000. If you picked it up earlier, what did I say? $2,000 doubling over the years. It's $1 million 9 years later. So you see what I am going with this, right? Yeah. So it's never, oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources. I just showed you how to go subscribe for something for $20 a month. Go pick 4 businesses in your town, and trust me, they don't have time to be writing newsletters and posting every single day. They will honestly pay you $250, even if they complain. Okay, $199. You know, and then, come on, $199 for a whole month. Right. You can write 30 social media posts, 1 or 2 newsletters to go out every 2 weeks. That's gonna bring them more clients that they can put a coupon. 10% off discount that's going to bring them more revenue. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to love you. So now you can charge 3 times more. Bam. That's an easy, simple way to make some money, you know? So, you know, just stuff like that. But you know me, Kate, I can go on and on.
That's awesome stuff, Carlos. And oh my goodness, thank you so much for coming on to the show. It's amazing to speak with you every time. Oh my word, I learned so much from you. And guys, all the links that Carlos mentioned, his social media links, they will all be in the show notes. So make sure you go and check it out, and go ahead and follow Carlos right now. Again, Carlos, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, my friend. It's always a blessing.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.